Welcome to volume 22 of Captain Harold DeMarrero's River Stories. Today we're going to talk about the time Captain was 24 to 26. That would be while he's on the Jag. Hopefully we'll finish her up today. Take it away, Cap.
Alright. Getting back to the Jag. While I was there, one of the problems that I had with the Jag, I had gotten a good crew on there. Excellent crew. But the company kept wanting us to bring bigger and bigger barge tows down the lower Mississippi for a small boat, you know, bringing a maximum load down. They wanted us to do it every trip. And they was wanting us to bring it in the fog and everything else, you know. So I told them, I said, well, the Jag, because it's built so short, it doesn't have enough rudder power. I said, if you want to bring these bigger tows down the river, you got to give me more rudder power. And they said, what do you mean? I says, well, right now our boat has a rudder behind the propeller, the steering rudder, and one up between there and the hull is the flanking rudder, a backup rudder. There's one rudder under there that turns, and what it does, it gets about half of that thrust goes out the side, and the rest of it goes straight under the hull. And I says, you need two flanking rudders, one on each propeller, 4 flanking rudders. And so they says, well, if you think we need it, and by then, this company was making some money. Boy, they were making money hand over fist. Before I got there, they was having wrecks and tearing everything up, and almost bankrupt. And I had turned it completely around, so if I said it needed 4 flanking rudders, it was going to get 4 flanking rudders. So at the end of the season, they brought us in. We went into Bilbo Williamson's shipyard. Bilbo Williamson. He was a big old heavy guy that was the first kind of major boat builder down in Greenville, and there were several others there at the time, but he was the first. And so he came in there, and they told him they wanted to, what I wanted to do, put 4 flanking rudders on the Jag. And he says, I've been building these boats down here for so many years, and he says, and they all got 2 flanking rudders, and they all do what they're supposed to do. These boats don't need 4 flanking rudders. And let me just say that I never heard of him as a pilot. You know, he probably was on some little boat or something, or maybe some of those guys weren't even pilots and was calling themselves captain, you know, but Captain Bilbo. And so anyway,
Just question your integrity.
yeah. So he left the room, the meeting room we was in, and then Johnny Kirk, of the 3 partners, he was the most sophisticated and level-headed, smart man. Came from a family that he inherited a lot of money, you know, and know how to live with it. So, but he says, well, what do you think, Cap? He says, do you want them or not? And I said, you want to do this? I want them. And I said, okay. So then they put them on there, and it took them a while, and I argued with them through I was down there for every step when they was installing them and inspecting everything they was doing. And but when she was done, boy, that little boat would really handle her stern. It did, for a 100-foot long boat, there wasn't any better.
So did it affect Bilbo's boats he put out in the future?
Oh yeah, it did so well, and the reputation of the boat was so good amongst all the companies that all the boats they built after that had 4 flanking rudders, and all the other shipyards started building their boats with 4 flanking rudders.
Just another innovation you brought to river boating, huh?
I guess, you know, to the Greenville boat building. All the big shipyards up the river had 4 flanking rudders on them for years, you know. So these guys are going to build them with 2 flanking rudders. Well, naturally, it's going to handle only half as well as it could. So then we got the boat. Here I had the boat running like a dream. They bought every piece. Every time something new electronic equipment came out, if I wanted it, I got it. And I did want it, and I got it. And so I had an excellent, the 2 radars, everything. The boat was a dream position for what we was doing with it. I didn't let them overload me. And when the river got to be flooding, I cut the size of our barges down, you know. So, but I was bored, and I said I had saved up about a little over $10,000, and back in the early '60s, that's a lot of money. My wife was working, had a fairly decent job, and so you know, I had 2 kids, and they were getting ready to start school, or starting school, or in school, and so anyway, I quit the river and left the company in good graces.
Then left them making money after they was losing money.
Yeah,
then
right.
straightened out their fleet.
Right.
And got them good crew.
Right.
And got bored.
Yeah, well, they respected the fact that I was going to further my education, and they were all for it. You know, they was 100% behind me.
You want to be a maritime attorney, I believe.
Yeah, marine lawyer. I probably would have made a good one if I'd have stayed there. But anyway, I enrolled at Memphis State again after 6 years of being out of school. And I remembered my first class in English that I went to. Now, I never was that great in English to start with. But I went into this class, and the first day in there, he says, "All right, class, I want you to write a 1 paragraph about your experiences last summer." And, you know, and it had to be have all of this style, and all this stuff had to be in there that you're supposed to have learned in English the year before.
How'd that work out for you?
I made an F. One of 2 Fs I ever made my whole life. The other one was in typing. And at Memphis State, that same year, I went in. I was working nights down on the river, you know, trying to supplement my income. I was running a tug for my uncle. And
trip pilot?
No, just nighttime tug operator. And, you know, you're not piloting anywhere. You're running around the harbor there. And so I was doing that, and I went back to school, and I'd been working all night, and I was in my math class, and I went to sleep. And this guy knew I was asleep. And he comes over and he wakes me up and he says, "Go up and write the answer to that on the board." And I says, "To what?" And he says, "Mr. DeMarrero," he said, "that's the quickest way to fail my class is to come here and sleep in it." And he didn't want to hear any excuses that I'd been running a tug all night. I had 2 kids. That didn't interest him one at all, you know. So, but I ended up, for the whole year, I got some good grades later. Wasn't good enough because I ended up with a D in that. So.
Okay, Cap, I was wanting to ask you about this black frame up here with the watch in it. Can you explain that one to me?
Well, that's my grandfather, Captain W.M. Warner's watch. And this is the way these old river captains used to. Over here on this side is a silver dollar, 1927 silver dollar. Was the year that they started the boat company, of my grandfather and his brother. And the bob is in the center, and that's a gold pilot wheel.
Okay, we got to wrap it up, Cap. Thanks for everybody watching.